Hello everybody, welcome back to FusioCraft, and also welcome back to Barreleye Bay. I've been doing a bit of an infrastructure grind around here, and as you can tell, the road is a little longer than it was before. We got more streetlights up. The road goes all the way over here, right next to this little lake by the Shattered Savannah, and I've also started to outline where I want the docks to generally be. So let's talk about Barreleye Bay, and a bit of the concepts that I'm going to be putting into it. The functional reason for Barreleye Bay, strictly gameplay-wise, is that I want to put a bunch of farms here. But what I'm really truly building this for is the theming that I came up with. Dark, spooky, ocean, portside, industrial theming. So there's not going to be a lot of nature elements. It's going to be very gritty and grimy and dirty. There will be the ocean growth up the side of the docks, but up on top it's going to be very dead. I want the land to feel unnerving, maybe a little hostile. And you know what? I want the ocean to be that, like, squared. Oh my gosh, I actually kind of forgot to put the Fusio down there. It's so scary. I have all these images in my mind of the vibe that I want this to go for, so maybe I'll put a few up on screen because I feel like these images kind of convey what I want to go for more than any words I could describe. So I realized a little while ago that since I want this to be a spooky area, but I also want to keep the ocean theming, wouldn't it be perfect if I made this entire ocean section of Barreleye Bay, you know, the actual bay, like a super deep abyss? It might be a bit of a grind, but definitely I want to make a huge deep ocean section here. Put some submarines down there and whatnot. Some deep sea creatures that you really don't want to run into. And so in order to do that, I have to figure out where all of the docks are gonna go. As soon as I've laid out exactly where I want all these docks to go, I can do the ocean stuff. I can then figure out where things are gonna go on this side of the street. Before I get those docks down, the only thing I can really work on now is stuff on this side, which I'll come to, and I definitely need to finish this factory already. But I think for now, I'm just gonna keep grinding out this infrastructure. It's easy, relatively speaking. It covers a ton of ground, and it's going to lay out a lot of the foundation for what's gonna come next. The real pandemic, says Mike. There's like a turtle infestation behind his house. Oh yeah, time to make the problem worse. Where are they gonna go to lay the eggs, though? Oh my gosh, it's his backyard. This is insane. And there's gonna be so many more of them. While I'm here... yeah. I don't think I've filmed here since this happened. Sesame Street really sends you a message now as you enter. Don't cross the line. Lovely little flower shop that I suggested. New house that uses the inner mushroom texture. What Mike called Sesame Street's first ugly wallpaper house. Okay, now I understand what he means by ugly wallpaper. That's clever though. That is a clever way to use the two different textures. They're just everywhere. Oh! Oh my gosh, I'm watching a murder. I know what you did. Back here we have a little dockside, just past the alley. Funny boat. Can I ride with a turtle? Hell yeah. Hell yeah. I shall spread the infestation elsewhere. This looks really cool. Just a bunch of floating pillars with soul lanterns on them. I like when builds aren't fully there yet and they just look like this big abstract mess. So I'm hard at work grinding these docks out. You can see I shaped it a little differently. I made this one thicker and I had it be like exactly centered with this road. I'm thinking about putting a portal over here, but obviously like the docks have to be complete first. Oh boy. Building this thing up at night in the ocean, swimming as I'm doing it. It's a vibe. The song Not Waving by This Heat just came on my shuffle and it's like perfect for this build section that I'm doing. If only YouTube wasn't so uptight about copyright. I kid you not, Julie With just started playing. That's also in my Barreleye Bay playlist. What is going on? The universe knows that it's time. Oh yeah, I laid down a temporary portal placement. The portal itself is going to be permanent, but that's not exactly how it's going to be configured. I don't know where it's going to go, what structure it'll be a part of yet. But it connects to the Nether Hub perfectly. I didn't have any trouble with it. It's actually way further away than my portal and the Calcite Cove portal. Compared to where I started on this server with my house, we're pretty far away actually. I mean, not like a huge distance, but it is considerable enough. Like, I need this portal way more than I need that Calcite Cove portal. That was basically just an ease of access from somewhere else in the Nether Hub. Whoa! Whoa! Oh my gosh! That was so many of them! I was about to do that myself! I was about to pull out my trident! I wanted to try the bowl thing! Oh my gosh! I'm scared of it! Oh my gosh, we got the bowl though! Yeah, I just started recording because there's a thunderstorm and I wanted to try out the bowl trick where you kill a turtle with lightning and they drop a bowl. Like it's their fried shell or something. That was insane. I thought that was just a natural lightning strike too, but then I saw, oh, what does that mean? Evil. So he just struck a villager with lightning. Oh my gosh. It's a bloodbath. I have named the bulls. This used to be a turtle. This is actually cursed. This is the most cursed thing I have now. So does Doobie live here now? Is this Doobie's house now? I don't know. I think I'm going to end up making a new house in Barreleye Bay. Like, not a huge one. Like a little shack. Something where I can keep my stuff and I can have it as a home base because it is pretty far away. I'm doing this whole walk kinda to just demonstrate. You have to go all the way to Calcite Cove, and then you have to go all the way through Calcite Cove. So, as of right now, I've been grinding this out all day. The docks are almost completely done. At least the stone portions of them. I'm gonna have some wooden branch-offs here and there, and there's gonna be a lot of decorative stuff on them too. But here's the big grand reveal. Booyah. The docks are big, expansive. I still need to lay down all the iron bars, but look at that, look at that. I also got to do the part underwater to connect it to the bottom. I'm going to use a lot of moss for that because that's like the closest thing to like kelp cover. You know, when there's like sections of stone and whatnot that's been underwater for a long time in the ocean. It just gets super covered in ocean life, and that's what I'm going to convey. Lucky for me, I get all kinds of moss right here, locally sourced, and you can see here I kind of covered this entire area with moss. The reason I did this is to make building in this section way easier. If you look underneath, it's a pretty big void of open space. Usually I always fill things in just, yeah, I don't know, for the sake of not having these types of empty spaces. I don't know, I just don't like it. But this is such a big one, why bother? So it's essentially just one big building platform, and there's going to be a lot of stuff that is basically right on top of it. This is going to help me elevate the buildings that are going to go in between the street and the docks. Back when my house was the only thing I had, this felt like quite a journey to get to. And it kind of still is, but now it's entirely developed all the way up to this point, which is crazy to think about. It looks really cool from above. Let me get a good angle here. Oh my gosh, yes, look at that. Look at that! This is such a massive foundation to build from. I can already see the old wooden dock ruins, the buoys, the submarines. I intentionally made this dock in particular massive, so I could do like several buildings on this dock. I've really opened up a huge new world of possibilities here, and I'm super excited. And I low-key kind of feel like destroying that area of the world to make this feel more open ocean. Might get into a bit of evil world destruction there, but yeah. Oh, the factory looks so cool from right here. So the reason I haven't fully finished the factory yet is because I wanted to take a step back for a while and reevaluate the color scheme and whatnot. I wasn't sure how I was going to feel as soon as I laid out the overall area, if I would still think that this fits the vibe. I think it does. I think it does. There's definitely something about this building that is a little more like out there, and the rest of the buildings I think are gonna have way more of a traditional just industrial approach. But I think this one can get away with it because this is like the greens factory. This is where I'm creating a bunch of natural stuff. I don't know. So I just obtained some beans, and I came here to put the beans in the geology museum, And someone gifted me an entire netherite block. Let's go. I know Mike already had a lot of netherite, so this could have been him. Bam. That feels good. Now we're only missing one more block. The single most expensive block in the game. Thank you, kind stranger. So I've been grinding all morning, and I've been placing a ton of moss. As you can see here, the docks actually have depth underwater now. So as the walls go underwater, it gets more and more overgrown with the seaweed, the kelp, the stuff that grows on the side, I don't know. Oops, I was not full screen. So I just placed a huge wall of it all the way around. First of all, because I can. Moss is so inexpensive. But also just to make the next step easier, to bring up the gravel on the side. This is the next step. I have to take gravel and I have to just put it up the walls. Now, while I have a ton of moss, I do not have an infinite amount of gravel, so I might just run out of gravel doing this, but I think it'll be worth it. And one easy way to get some gravel is to simply go down here and take everything on this side. In fact, this entire area beneath the docks has become this massive area where I can just get a ton of resources. Look at all the sand and the sandstone that is otherwise just covered up, hidden away down here. It may as well go in my pockets. Grah! It isn't that noticeable from above, but I've worked up that gravel layer down there. Let me get in the water here. Yeah, I went around every wall and I built up the gravel on the side of it. This is only half of what I need to do though. Now that I've got all these docks here, now that I've got the gravel and stuff nestled up against it, now I need to bring everything else down. That'll be a project for another day. This has mostly just been me trying to lay down the overall foundation of Barreleye Bay so I could get to building. Deepening the ocean is just an entirely different foundational process. One that will aid builds way later on. As you can see here, I'm kind of trying to figure out how to transition from the street area to the dock area. So there's going to be a bit of retaining walls over here where the hill gets really high up. I think there's going to be a building right here in this general area. One that can be accessed from the top and the bottom, so it'll have 2 stories. The bottom story will be accessible here. The top story will be accessible from the street. Here there's going to be a building or 2. I don't know what the buildings are going to be yet. I have the overall vision in mind, but a lot of the specifics I'm still fuzzy on. But now that I've got the space nailed down, now that I know how many blocks of space I can use, now I can get a general sense of an idea what I can put here. I used eggs to spawn chickens, but they all died because I held down the throw button too long. Shot to death by their unborn siblings. Murder. 11, 12. I've got 12 blocks of space between these 2 sidewalks. And that's just for this section where I needed a secondary sidewalk to slope down here. This section is way more open. It doesn't need this secondary sloped sidewalk because this dock will act as the sidewalk on the other side of the buildings. Also, the road over there kind of steers this way a little bit, so on both sides, we're gonna have more room over here. So much so, I might just put another big factory right here. I thought initially that I might only have just enough space for a few small little buildings and shacks, and that I might only be able to put factories on this side. But looking at this space, I would say that, yeah, I've got my work cut out for me. The first building that I really want to do before I get to anything else is the shack that I want to live in. I've got stuff just kind of laying around. Chests over here. I'm sleeping and storing and putting maps on this dock. I'm just kind of here. And I think if I'm here for this long, let's build myself a home away from home, a base camp, a building that perfectly fits in with the theming of the area, but has this type of living functionality. Oh, I'm super excited for this. I'm so proud. Ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce to you the first completed building here in Barreleye Bay. Oh my gosh, that scared me. This is going to be where I live here, and I'm super, super proud of the design. I'm super proud of the block choices, the shaping. This building is going to basically act as like the only remaining original building of the area before it became this super industrial district. Kind of making a little bit of a segue between the 2 areas. I think this is going to be the only mostly wooden building here, and I really hammered home how old the building is. It is deteriorating. Using these roots once again, in like I did at the old mine shaft to kind of demonstrate just all the decay going on in these log supports. All kinds of planks are missing here and there. Soul lanterns are so perfect for Barreleye Bay because they keep things only dimly lit. They fit the color scheme. It's incredibly simple, just a fence post with a lantern above it, but it fits this building so well. It looks great down here from the docks when you're looking up past the retaining wall. It just towers above the landscape. You got pipes running up to the top. The roof, which is made of muddy root blocks, is all slanted and diagonal and kind of sloped like it's falling off in some areas. There's almost a bit of some grassy sections here and there, but it's not quite grass. It seems to be more of a fungal growth, if anything. And I gotta say, it looks really cool when you're entering the area as well. Obviously, the stuff in front of it isn't really done yet, but it gives you a really good taste. It peers over the road from Calcite Cove, and it kind of gives you a sense of like, hey, what's over there? So like I was talking about, this is like the only original building of this area left, and it's really old. And it's been retrofit just kind of haphazardly with a lot of modern industrial stuff just thrown in here and there. So you got that cool chimney, and I have to go in here and show you the basement. Also, I got a parrot. And I named him Mr. Squawkers. He's my friend, and I love him, and he's gonna live here with me, and it's gonna be awesome. So down here, in the basement, we got some pipe action going. Wish I could say I came up with this myself. This is genius. I just saw it when I was looking for pipe designs. I haven't fully decorated the interior yet. That's what I'm gonna do next. Right now, I kind of just have all of my stuff just kind of haphazardly thrown in. Like, I just moved in. But yeah, more of that detailing that I did on the outside to make this place feel really old and run down, I did in here as well. And you go up here, this is gonna be the bedroom area. I wanna densely pack this place with cool stuff like just this old hermit used to live here. So yeah, I think this is pretty perfect for the vibe that I was trying to go for, and I'm gonna keep this type of lighting throughout the building. As I continue to decorate the interior here, it's only gonna look more and more run down over time. Oh, and then, I was going to put a bunch of moss on top of the roof, but then I decided, let's stick to the color scheme a little more. Let's throw in some like blue fungal growth instead. And then I popped on some skulk on top of that because it made it fit a little more with the coloration of the overall roof. And I think that looks really cool. I love this building. Just gonna do one last little 360 here. I love this thing. It looks great from every side, and that's one of the things you really want out of a building. Like this is the side with the hoisted water bucket and the entrance to the basement with the little bar windows. This is obviously the front side with the front door and that big window up there. This is a fairly symmetric side that takes advantage of the slope action. And then back here, you got a lot of pipe action going on. I'm so in love with this thing, and if the rest of Barreleye Bay comes out looking this good, then I'm excited to see how it continues to develop here. Okay, so while I'm no longer homeless, I still basically have a mess of an abode. My stuff is still scattered around, only now it's inside of a building. So now I need to further develop the interior. Captain Squawkers, you are squawking up a storm. Mike said that he added some things at spawn, and I have a little bit of an idea of what it is based on a teaser image that he uploaded. Oh god, I can see it now. Oh no. Now there are two of them! I'm gonna have to run into Mike again soon before this video is done because he changed his skin to match the Sesame Street theme, and now we have full-on Sesame Street Babber. Oh yeah, baby. This is such a cursed way to introduce this new skin. Oh my god, Quake Pro standing on his nose is terrifying. It's really starting to look like End of Evangelion up there. This is scary. Are there any new messages on the Fusio board? There's Abe Lincoln. Have I seen this yet? I will never eat at the poop store. I can't do it! What is that over there? What is going on? Okay. I was assuming there would be a sign here. That render distance wasn't showing me. It's literally just a flower and two Muppet Babber heads. There he is. There he is. Come back. Well, that was a high jump. There he is in the flesh. Oh my gosh, the turtle supply has ramped up yet again. There's a ton swimming around in the water. We can't discount those. There's a storm brewing. Let's see some thunder, baby. Lightning and the thunder. Where's Mike? Oh god. We got a bowl. Owned. Any last words, you freak? Oh, I can't hit him. He's so innocent. No. Oh, wait, what? Die. I was too late. I was too late. The storm ended. Oh my gosh. You know how I was excited showing this thing off at first? Well, now I'm super excited. I think I spent more time on the interior of this shack than I did the exterior. So you can probably already tell there's a big second chimney now. One of those things where the interior informed the exterior a little bit after it was made. There's a bit of newspapers in the windows because I really wanted to keep to that theme that some old hermit used to live here before I decided to move in. The Widdershins Estate, established 1908. Now owned by Qualia. Careful with your step. You may also notice the quote-unquote creaking noises that are being created by the skulker sensors. I quite literally hid some of those in the walls. Also, is Widdershins a real name? Or did I just take that from something and I'm referencing something without even realizing? It's a real name. Okay, also on the outside we've got some trash bags. Oh, you can kinda see a glimpse of it in there. More trash, and way after the fact I decided to add these metal bars on the bottom of each of these little windows. Kind of a thematically appropriate way to put something there. I think I lifted this up myself when I was building that. I am very tempted to start with the basement, but let's go in. Let's go in through the front door. Okay. This is where all the magic was put into this build. This was the entire inspiration. I just wanted a super, super densely packed little shack where everywhere you turn you can find new little details. Like you go in the kitchen here, look. We got beans in the pantry. We got beans. We got racks of fish. There's a burger on the grill. Some pickles out, a melon. And you can see I used a very ramshackle, I don't know if that's the word, just kind of slapped together type style. Like just a bunch of random wooden junk nailed together with a splash of metal and industrial stuff here and there. This is probably my favorite bit in the entire building is the deep sea diver suits. The perfect armor set to put up in this type of theming. Tomba has been given a throne. I did not actually build this for Tomba, but when I brought Tomba here, he just kind of sat here naturally and I was like, okay, that's perfect. We got barrels full of alcohol, books for reading, a little music setup in the middle here so you can come in and play whatever you want. On the topic of music, I brought in some of the album banners that I felt like fit the theme a little well, I guess. So we got the spooky albums, we got the oceanic albums, and then I had to make Disco Volante. This album, and especially the song The Bends, which I used in the intro, is like actually one of the major inspirations for all of Barreleye Bay. So I frustrated myself designing this for like almost an hour and bam, I think it turned out pretty well. You can tell I also have been keeping to the theme of making this place only dimly lit. And then there's Captain Squawks, who I can finally see the name for. Back when he was in the boat, I was kind of like, what were you, Captain Squawkers? Mr. Squawkers? His cage ended up looking like a metal boat, and I thought, hey, that's perfect, like this wasn't even intentional. Also really proud of the piston couch, like, oh my gosh, just the metal and wood just slapped together vibe of this place. That is the perfect couch. So here is where I'm keeping all my stuff, all nicely organized. This might be the scariest thing in Barreleye Bay so far. But still keeping to the very slapped together feeling theme, the very messy, disjointed nature. Here we have my bed with a funny squid. I also really got to point out how perfect using banners in the windows ended up being because the back of them just fits in with like, it looks like the framing of the window. We got a nice little used to be green little area for my ender chest, and we have a little study here. I think what I'm most proud of in this top floor is the ceiling. Look at all of that detail. See, this is why the interior took me several days. I was really dedicated to make this place feeling really run down and old and falling apart. And now we go down to the basement, which has a very different vibe from the rest of the building. More trash bags, the pipes under the stairs as you saw before. Once again, very thrown together supports for the underside of the stairs with a lantern hanging. And I brought out more copper in this floor. You know, I'm starting to think maybe I should, yeah, this is something I was meaning to do earlier, just kind of going in here and making just portions of it slightly different colors. That looks good. That looks great. I have a massive lava generator in the back here, which I'm starting to realize maybe you do need full blocks above them. I didn't think you did. So yeah, now the Wittershins estate has more smelting power than the fishing shack. And then of course, I had to put in one last deep sea diving suit in the corner here. The hopper being kind of its fun little standee. I have not waxed this copper. I think I want it to age to be green as well, so it's technically not done yet here. I just gotta let it age. And then of course some extra storage down here. There's not actually anything in here yet, but I could put things down here. And yeah, 3 days. 3 days of work went into this interior. I think this interior took me longer than everything else in this episode. I think this is the best interior I've ever done. It's definitely better than the fishing shack interior. I mean, it's dense and it's messy on purpose. And that messy density gave me a lot of fun ideas to play with. And with that, I think that's all I have for this episode. Lots of progress on Barreleye Bay got made here with all of these docks. And look at that shack. Look at that shack in the background there. It's so good. Very, very proud with how this is turning out. Thank you for watching. Tune in next time. I'm going to keep on building this area up. Gonna finish that factory, and I have a new factory planned. And now for a jump scare.